Not that I need to remind you in this breaking story, but Donald Trump has a couple of words that he really can't stand. One of them, of course, is no. But the other two would be responsibility and accountability. And in light of tragedies in this breaking story, Donald Trump, to the best of my knowledge, has actually never said he's wrong in his entire life. Sheer signs of a malignant narcissist. But he also is the only modern-day president since Truman who has refused to say the buck stops here. Oh, no. Donald Trump quoted, first term, the buck stops with everybody. And in this breaking story, that's exactly what we're facing with regards to Doge, Elon Musk, his former best friend, and all of the BS, waste, fraud, and abuse that they went after in the Doge cuts, which included, of course, NOAA and the National Weather Service. Be reminded of this right here.
Hundreds of employees at the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration have been fired.
Sources say the cuts could total around 1,300 workers, or about 10% of NOAA's workforce. The agency monitors climate forecasts and manages marine resources. It also provides critical weather watches and warnings.
Yeah, that's cutting actual experts, as opposed to House of Representative Congresswoman clown Marjorie Taylor Greene from Georgia, who wanted to continue to push this narrative in the hurricane season last year in Florida.
But conservatives remain so deep in their denial, they're flailing around for anyone or anything else to blame. Republican Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene is promoting a bizarre conspiracy theory about a mysterious they controlling the weather.
And yet, right now in present day, when you listen to an actual 30-plus year expert meteorologist in the state of Florida about what those cuts mean, take a listen to this.
Hey, when is it going to turn? John, it's not turning. It's coming straight to us. That was about 6 years ago. That was Hurricane Dorian. It was headed straight west. And as you've grown accustomed to my presentations over my 34 years in South Florida newscasts, confidently, I went on TV and I told you, it's going to turn. And I am here to tell you that I am not sure I can do that this year because of the cuts, the gutting, sledgehammer attack on science in general, but specifically the federal government cuts to the National Weather Service and to NOAA. Did you know that Central and South Florida National Weather Service offices are currently basically 20 to 40% understaffed?
But if you think experts or facts meaning a damn thing to him, oh, no. Not even close. I'm going to show you the breaking story in just a second. This is what Donald Trump had to say when that question was put to him, because he is about to get the hammer for this comment right here.
Are you investigating whether some of the cuts to the federal government left key vacancies at the National Weather Service or in the emergency coordination?
No, they did not. They did. I'll tell you, that what a situation that all is. That was really the Biden setup. That was not our setup. But
oh no, gosh no. Nothing Donald Trump could do could ever be responsible for anything. He's completely free of responsibility, except for the fact that Chuck Schumer in New York pushing to file an official investigation as to what was missing that may or may not have led to the people in Texas not properly being informed of the danger they were facing over the July 4th weekend. Take a look at this breaking story. Massive breaking news. Schumer demands investigation of Trump Weather Service vacancies in wake of Texas flooding. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer of New York is demanding that the Commerce Department's Inspector General investigate vacancies at the National Weather Service offices and whether they increased the death toll in recent flash flooding in Texas. Schumer wrote in a money letter to Roderick Anderson, the Commerce Department's acting Inspector General, urging him to immediately, in quotes, open an investigation into the scope, breadth, and ramifications of whether staffing shortages at key local National Weather Service stations contributed to the catastrophic loss of life and property during the deadly flooding. He noted that the New York Times reported that key forecasting and coordination positions at the San Antonio and San Angelo offices of the NWS were vacant at the time of the Friday storm. Those local offices were missing a warning coordination meteorologist, a science officer, and a senior hydrologist, among other vital forecasting, meteorology, and coordination roles. In quotes, these are experts responsible for modeling storm impacts, monitoring rising water levels, issuing flood warnings, and coordinating directly with local emergency managers about when to warn the public and issue evacuation orders, Schumer wrote. In quotes, to put it plainly, they help save lives, he added. Schumer is asking for the Commerce Department to investigate whether the staffing vacancies at the San Antonio and San Angelo offices contributed to delays, gaps, or diminished accuracy of the forecast related to the July 4th flooding. He wants to know whether those vacancies delayed or weakened the issuance of flood warnings. In quotes, this is a national tragedy tragedy which people across the country are mourning. The people deserve answers, he wrote. Representative Joaquin Castro, Democrat of Texas, raised similar questions during an interview with CNN's Dana Bash on Sunday, calling for an investigation into what impact Weather Service staffing cuts had on the local preparation for the floods. In quotes, when you have flash flooding, there's a risk that you won't have the personnel to make that, do that analysis, do the predictions in the best way, he said. And in finally quotes, and it could lead to a tragedy. So I don't want to sit here and say conclusively that that was the case, but I do think that it should be investigated, he said.
Donald Trump is trying to ruin our democracy. He has changed the Justice Department into an attack dog for his political enemies, the hallowed, fair Justice Department. He's washing it away. He is a would-be dictator. He wants to be a king. And again, and we Democrats will fight him at every turn.
Now, in light of this, let's remember a couple of differences that are really important regarding Donald Trump, this administration, his first administration, and every other single presidency. Do you remember when Hillary Clinton was running against Trump back in 2015-16? They took out no less than 10 investigations in the tragedy of Benghazi when Hillary was Secretary of State. She wasn't president, she wasn't vice president. The second she lost, all those investigations went away because they weren't about investigations. They were just about narrative and lubing up the MAGA base. But when you have actual death, and that does not mean the 4 lives in Benghazi didn't matter. Oh, no. Oh, no, not at all. Yet we tend to forget right after Trump got elected in 2016, 4 servicemen lost their lives in Niger under his watch. And yet, did the Democrats file any investigations and lawsuits? No. Did Trump apologize? No. Trump couldn't even get the name right of the parent he was speaking to. But let's bear in mind, we are going to have to push for investigations on this. Because while I will always agree, there's easily 10% waste in our government, maybe 10 to 20% in city locations and states all across the country. But what DOJ did was not about waste, fraud, and abuse. And it unequivocally, when you remove expert humans from any scenario, you're likely in the face of a tragedy, just like air traffic controllers, to have problems that come into play. Will Trump ever take responsibility? No, but that's why we have to not let up, not relist, and as always, stay frosty.